Welcome into the Banter,
Turn that light green.
the show where everything's made up and the points don't matter.
It's my kind of show.
Before we get into today's episode and take a moment to thank our sponsors, the season for Fresh Cuts is finally here with the sponsor of today's show, Manscaped. Leaders in below-the-waist grooming have launched their 5th-generation lawnmower. You can get the best stocking stuffer of all by going to manscaped.com and using code BANTER20 for 20% off plus free shipping. What could be better than giving the gift of good hygiene and a few laughs? Starting with the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, this is the crown jewel of the holidays and, dare I say, one of the best trimmers of all time. The electric razor's advanced skin-safe technology is a lifesaver and known for reducing nicks and cuts. But the fun doesn't stop there. Anybody in the family have too much scruff? Look no farther than Manscaped Beard Hedger Pro Kit and Handyman Electric Face Shaver for all your facial hair needs. Is their Boxer Game week? Take care of them with the Manscaped Boxers 2.0, featuring their signature jewel pouch to keep you calm, cool, and collected. Have their nails seen better days? Manscaped has you covered with their new Shears 3.0 Nail Grooming Kit. So get 20% off and free shipping with the code BANTER20 at manscaped.com. Again, that's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com using the code BANTER20. Shout out Manscaped.
Heck yeah.
One of the longest standing sponsors of Foundation. The longest standing sponsor of Foundation. We got a package.
Yeah, well, this has never happened in Banter history.
We have a show called the Heiser Club Mailbag, and that's where we kind of get packages sent to. And that's behind our, if you're a member of Patreon, you know what it is, patreon.com/Foundation Disc Golf, where you can find that. But this one is from Scott Cashin, and it was shipped to the Banter. So
never happened
awesome,
before.
Scott. Thank you.
Yeah. Jason,
I'm really excited.
I'm going to let you wield that knife and open this thing.
There we go.
It's a Praxis. I was jealous of your larger
you
Praxis.
got one.
So I had the mini Praxis, but I'm becoming a knife collector right now for no reason, because you only really need one good knife.
That's awesome.
I had about 7 good knives.
My good knife is my house key, my home.
It's a very good knife.
Very useful.
Very effective.
Takes care of everything I need to. To be opened on the Banter. There's a long note. I'll read it. Okay. Hello, Banter. A few months ago, Brad was on the Banter and gave me an idea. It took me a while to design, but I had this gift made specifically for the Banter cast and the gaming enthusiast in all of you. It would be great if the entire cast could be present, but I understand that logistically it might not be feasible. Silas, Trevor, y'all come get behind here. Brad's the only one missing. So it's unfortunate that the first only name mentioned here so far was Brad, but he's not here. Thank you for all the content you provide. It's a big part of my everyday life, and I wanted to show all of you my appreciation. I really hope everyone enjoys it. I wish all of you at Foundation and anyone listening a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Thanks, Scott Cashin, and then in parentheses, Cash.
I'm going blind.
Thanks, Scott Cashin. Yeah, Trevor, can you see that box?
Okay.
That is nice.
Look at this thing.
Wow, that's gorgeous.
Thanks, Scott. I really appreciate that. That's like
How do you
origami.
do
Yeah,
that?
it's
That's
like cut.
beautiful.
Oh, it pops up. Hold up.
Oh, that's sick.
I hope I don't ruin it. I'm going to tear it. I'm not going to. Okay.
That's beautiful.
That is gorgeous. Don't tear the Christmas tree.
Be very descriptive while you're opening it, Hunter.
I am
What
opening
is
a
this?
Foundation.
Oh, wow.
There's a Foundation branding on the side of this box.
Whoa.
This is going to be intense.
Is it going to be a game?
Oh,
Oh
is
my
this going to
gosh.
be a game? Welcome to
The
the Banter, a
Banter?
weekly podcast where two Foundation disc golf personalities and special guests talk about anything and everything going on in their lives and around the sports world. The Banter.
Is it a banter game?
This is like actually printed on this box.
What?
Oh my gosh.
Trevor, Konner, Silas, Chris Dicerson, Brad, Jason, Hunter, Trevor. Okay, let's look at this. Foundation Nation. Rules of play for 2+ players, all
crazy.
ages.
This is fantastic.
Content. Chris Dicerson. Rules insert. Objective. Roll Chris Dicerson to choose players for next week's Banter. He made a way to choose the people who are going. Wow. Player 1 rolls Chris Dicerson to choose the next week's player 1. Player 2 rolls Chris Dicerson to choose next week's player 2. If player 1 or 2 rolls Konner himself then re-rolls Chris Dicerson until the next player is rolled.
So funny.
How
D6
did
or
this is like legitimately,
Yes.
How do you make this?
and it's like a nice quality box. Like, feel
Wow.
that thing.
Oh, it's like he went to
Like how,
some kind of custom game.
I need to know your connections, sir. Oh my gosh, our faces are on the dice.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, this is the coolest thing that has ever been sent to us.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like this.
This is the coolest thing in
amazing.
existence.
This is amazing.
Scott, how? I have so many questions.
I've got to come
How?
over there and look at it. I need to come over there.
Are you serious? That's amazing.
I mean, I'm blown away by this box.
It's like as the most personalized,
Oh
cool
my
thing
gosh,
that we've ever received.
Okay, well, I think we go ahead and play our first ever one right now
So
while
we'll
everyone's
decide
here.
who's next
So
week.
I'll be player 1 and roll, and then Jason will be player 2 and roll. And if we land on Konner, Konner, you get to roll until it lands on someone not Konner. Wow. All right, first roll.
Oh, here we go.
First roll of the dice.
Right.
Scott Cashin, you're my new
Legend.
all-time favorite listener.
That is insane.
Oh! Party foul. First
Doesn't
roll.
count.
Doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
We don't
Jason,
count-
Jason,
When
the
it's on
board
the
game
floor,
guy
we don't
doesn't
count it. So it's a re-roll.
It rolls a lot, just let you know.
Trevor.
Okay.
Trevor's person 1 next week.
Oh, Jason.
And Konner, Konner, special roll,
First
Konner.
re-roll for Konner.
And Konner has rolled off the table. It does
We may
roll
have to
a
change
lot.
that
This
roll for
thing-
this one because that
this
rolls
thing
so
rolls
well.
a lot.
And we have such a small table.
There you go. That's a good idea.
It's in a.
Jason.
Oh.
All right.
Thank you.
We're going to keep this
my
on the
gosh.
set. This is the coolest thing I have ever. Wow. How I have so many questions, Scott. Is this like, does your company make custom board games? Did you find this online? How did, like, all of it is so well done.
This is definitely the absolute best thing that I could imagine would have been in that
This
box.
is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
It's
I like
awesome.
it's so
I mean,
well done.
Yep.
Cause like I have so many ideas for videos that would just go to the next level if we had this stuff.
Yeah. I mean,
Scott, DM me, please. Or you know what? Actually, email me. You know my email. You know how to get in touch with me. Reach out to my people. Have your people reach out to my people.
that is amazing.
don't-
I'm blown away right now.
That is, I can't express my gratitude enough. That's the coolest
Wow.
thing. I mean, look at the box at the bottom.
Yeah, that's it. It's the banter.
Yeah, this is.
It's.
How do you get such a clear picture of that?
Well, also, like, how did he get all of these files?
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, even our like background, like
He definitely has some,
texture.
because like the Foundation Nation, the only time this is ever used is
On
with
the
gold
YouTube
as the
banner?
background
Oh, okay.
and on the YouTube banner. And I'm the only person that has all of these files, and I didn't send them to anyone. So, because like,
The plot thickens.
yeah, because like Brad would have had to reach out to me to get the Banter logo or like all of this. These two specifically, I'm the only person that has those. So he like recreated them, and they're definitely vector because like that's way better quality than
yeah, they're
ours.
way too good a quality. It
And
looks,
the background
it looks
pattern,
legit.
the background pattern. How did he get that? Because
I
again,
don't
I
know.
made that, and it's vector because it's all over the box.
Could he have just grabbed an area of it and duplicated?
Well, he
it?
definitely like image traced it and then just like, but that's so much effort.
Yeah.
And he
That's
found the
also our
foundation.
font.
I say he
That's
found the foundation
the
font to
absolute
be able to
empire.
type. Because like Chris Dyserson has never existed in that font.
You're a legend.
That
You're a legend.
That's incredible. We need like just write in and like email Hunter
me.
and let him know the whole story of it, and then next week we will explain that because that's insane. That is so awesome. Just prop that thing up, banter side up. Yeah, let's just
where?
like at the front of the desk. Love it. There we go.
That's the coolest thing I've ever.
That
That's
is
the greatest Christmas gift
amazing.
I've ever seen. I don't know how.
I don't even know what to talk about now. All I want to do is just
I
keep talking
have
about
so many questions because again, like for Dude Perfect just did Clue,
Mm-hmm.
right? But they called it like Murder Mystery or something mystery. But they had like personalized game cards where like the back was like the logo of like their mystery thing,
Mm-hmm.
and the front had like their names, like Mr. Green or Mr. Verde, I think they called him, was Ty, but it was like Ty's silhouette.
Yeah.
And they like had customized what weapons were used and what parts of the house. So like it was the Clue cards,
Yeah.
but it was for their game. And they like had physical copies, and it was like such a small little touch.
Mm-hmm.
But it like made the video, like everything about that video was like really well thought out and immersive.
Yeah.
And like while I was watching, I was literally like, man, dude, it'd be crazy to have like some type of connection like that where like obviously they have it because they're Dude Perfect.
Yeah.
And then this shows up. And now I'm like, do
insane.
we have that connection?
Yeah, we do now.
We do now.
Right. You can
Scott,
make
I need, gosh, I gotta
It
know.
looks incredible. It's
Well,
so
it's
good.
the feel because like when I first saw, what was the first side I saw? I think this side was the first I saw.
Yeah.
In my head, I was like, oh, he got a like game box and printed
Yeah,
like a
and just
sticker and put it on it,
glued
and
it
like it
on
was gonna
there
be
or
like
something like
a
that.
really well thoughtful gift,
Yeah.
but like it was just like paper. No, this is like This is the box. I'm blown away.
It looks like something you would pick up in the game section of Target.
Honestly, like if we could sell this box.
Yeah.
We could sell this on our website and be like, you want to roll dice with our faces on it?
Does make me want to like make a game.
I want to make a foundation
because
game
a
now.
game called The Banter is a great. It'd be more of a conversation game where you just have conversation starters and stuff like that. But that's a fantastic name for a game like that. Just The Banter, and it'd be awesome. Yeah. And you roll dice on who has to answer the question or something. I don't know.
The whole banter's been derailed. All I'm gonna be able to think about the whole time is this game.
Okay, I have another first for us then. I've brought gifts.
Oh, wow.
Are they wrapped with a Christmas tree? A pop-up Christmas tree?
No.
Are they wrapped with
I have a
pop-up
gift
Christmas tree?
for the 4 of y'all and Brad. I'll get Brad's when I go back to the warehouse.
Kobe.
Colby.
Okay, so it's my wife has done this for her friends at work, so I thought this was fantastic. So it's basically a jar of M&Ms, right?
Okay.
It has a little thing on here I'm going to read for you. It's called Chill Pills.
Okay.
And this is going to fit perfect for you guys. When I read it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is fantastic. So it says, take 1 to 2 chill pills by mouth immediately after an unfortunate encounter with an annoying, stubborn, frustrating, angry, ignorant, inconsiderate, loud or dense individual. We don't know any of those around here.
Do you happen to have a bigger jar?
Oh no, I have a whole thing of M&Ms. I can always refill it. That's what I told Elizabeth.
That's
I'm about to refill these. Chill pills can be used for stressful encounters with inanimate objects, such as discs, but also a car, computer, oven, TV, clothes, furniture, or food.
I don't know who would have a stressful encounter with a car.
Yeah, I've never heard of that before.
In case of emergency and or immediately following a meeting with any combination of these described types, break glass and consume the entire bottle.
Okay, don't actually break glass, people.
Caution: side effects may include happiness, sudden burst of joy, and laughter. So
Because I can. Oh,
there's
awesome.
yours.
That
Thank
is
you.
awesome.
Because I can
Jason.
definitely see Konner just like for a bit, like I say something, he's like, "Oh, really?"
Yeah. I almost smashed a mug the other day because I thought it'd be funny, but then I just thought it's not worth it.
So that way you just take a chill pill whenever you get
That's
frustrated with
awesome.
each
That
other.
is amazing. I love that so
Okay,
much.
so we got the chill pills.
It's also we also just got
Boom,
provided
boom.
with so much like
boom.
comedy content where someone can make frustrating us. We just like start down in M&Ms.
Well, what's gonna be
It's
really
hilarious.
frustrating is like I'm gonna just start handing out chill pills. Be like, "Hey, Konner, man, take a chill pill."
That is gonna make me so angry.
Hey, dude,
Sorry,
Konner, you're the only one yelling right now. Take a chill pill.
Oh
Sorry,
man,
Connor.
it just got way more toxic in here. That is awesome.
Wow, what a start to the banter. Huh?
Yeah, I love getting things.
Yeah.
Well, it's the last banter before Christmas, so it
It
makes
is.
sense,
Yeah,
right?
it
This
is.
the
Yeah,
one.
that is very true. That is awesome.
Scott, I love
hilarious.
you. I can't stop thinking of you, Scott. I'm gonna dream of the things you could do with a box like this, Scott. I don't know what that means, so don't worry about it too
Doesn't
much.
mean anything good.
Well, if you think it means something bad, that says something more about
That's true.
you.
You're
than
right.
it says about
I'm
us.
thinking of
I already
like
knew
what
that
I
about
can
myself.
do with the ability to create personalized boxes.
Yeah.
Konner,
Yeah.
what were you thinking?
Exactly the same thing.
Okay.
I just don't think that's good.
No, that's one of the like most personalized gifts of all time. I can't believe that.
That's cool.
I'm just wow. My brain can't work right now. Someone else has to take over.
All right, Hunter. The way that your household works is you end up giving away all of your Christmas presents before Christmas, right?
Mostly, yeah.
Liz, has that happened this year already?
Not from Liz to me, but from me to Liz, yeah. Well, like so I ended up getting Liz. She doesn't listen to the banter, but in case I'll risk it, I won't say anything that she doesn't know she's gonna get. But basically, there's 3 presents that are under the tree for Liz when it's all
Okay.
said and done. She knows one of them.
Okay.
The other 2, she doesn't know. I'm very excited for her to open those 2. But then like her big gifts, she's already using every day. Because like I gave them to one of her big gifts was a Dyson vacuum, and I gave that to her the day it came in because I was like, look, let's be
tell
real
the
here.
story. Tell the Dyson story.
Okay,
man.
well I can tell the Dyson story. I told this to everyone else yesterday, I think. So I bought Liz, gosh, probably it was shortly after moving into our house. It was probably like 3 years ago now, somewhere in there, 2-3 years ago, maybe 4, I don't know. Several years ago, a Dyson vacuum, one of the like stick handheld vacuums, wireless, cordless, whatever.
A V8 Absolute.
I don't know. It's a V8 something. I bought it at Target.
I don't know much about them or anything.
And she loved it, right? She used it all the time. And at some point, I came home from work but it was one of those days where you come home from work, but even though you're home, you're still working. And so I came home from work, but I had a laundry list of things that I still had to do. I was just like, instead of staying at work for another 2 hours, I'd rather go home and sit on the couch with Liz and our dogs for 2 hours. That used to be much more common than it is now. But came home, pulled out my laptop, started working. And so I was not in a like problem solve anything other than work mood. And she came home, she's like, my Dyson like broke today. And I was like, what do you mean it broke? She's like, it has a short in it. Listen. And she like fired it up and it went zzz, 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 zzz. And she's like, can you fix it? I was like, I'll look at it later. But yeah, I'm sure there's some type of simple solution. So she puts it in the closet. And I kept working, forgot that conversation existed. Like a month later, because so she used it for a few years. This is probably around Christmas last year that it broke. So she now we're talking like February of this year or something, breaks it back out. Because now she wants to use it more and more because as Luca gets older, he makes more and more messes. And so she has more and more things to vacuum. And we have a nice big Dyson, like full-size vacuum with a cord, but it's a lot more clunky to get out and use. So she's having to use that every day. And every time she would use it, she'd remind me, she's like, hey, you got to look at that Dyson. But it was never a convenient time for me to sit down because in my head, it's an electrical issue. And I'm like, I'm going to take this.
Look at it real quick.
Yeah, I'm going to take this thing apart and put it back together and it's not going to work. And then I'll be like, okay, it's broken. So I was not motivated to look at it because I was like, I'm not smart enough to fix an electrical issue. The vacuum's only $200 so I don't on sale. So I'm not going to take it to shop to fix it because it probably cost me $100 to fix it. So in the back of my head, I already know I'm going to buy another one of these. But my stubbornness isn't going to let me buy it right now because if you buy it in May, it's like $400 But I know it's going to be $200 something towards Christmas. So every time she brings it up, I'm like, I'll look at it. And so she finally broke it back out because she's like, maybe it just started working again. And she ran, it was like zzz, zzz, zzz. And she's like, it's so frustrating. It's still happening. And again, that time I was holding Luca for a nap, I think during that time. And so I was like, I can't look at it right now. Just put it back in the closet. I'll look at it. You know the story. I never looked at it. Right. And so then we get to Black Friday and I love Black Friday. And this week I'm gonna be in stores all the time because I don't need anything. But I love getting in the hustle and bustle.
Yep.
I love
agree.
going shoulder to shoulder with people, watching people just freaking out because they're doing last minute Christmas shopping. And it's just a fun environment to be in. It gets you in the Christmas spirit. So Black Friday, I always get out and I'll just look around at my first peruse the aisle, see if anything I know I'm going to get someone's on sale. And sure enough, Liz's vacuum was marked down $200 It was $220 at Target. I'm like, boom, perfect. She's been saying how much she wants one, hers fixed or whatever. This is the exact same one, $220. Put it in the cart. I had Luca with me, and I was like, look, buddy, we're getting Mama a new vacuum. So we're all excited, whatever. And I bring it home, and in the car ride home, I'm like, I'm not going to wait till Christmas. She's been wanting this all year. I'll just let her know, hey, this is your big Christmas gift, but I'm going to give it to you now because, it'll make your day-to-day life so much easier for the next month before Christmas instead of waiting a month to give you this gift. And so she was all excited, starts vacuuming with it. It's working great. And every day it's always on the counter charging. Every day it's working great. Well, we put Luca down for a nap and she comes in our room and she's vacuuming our room with it. And I'm getting dressed because we're going somewhere. And so I'm not really paying attention, but I'm listening to her vacuum. And then out of nowhere, it stops, goes zzz, 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 and we've had this thing for a week. And she's like, oh my gosh, this one broke. I was like, there's no way this brand new one broke, Liz. She's like, listen, she pulled it. Zzz, zzz, zzz. I was like, let me look at it. And I pick it up. And it's clogged at the bottom. And I unclog it, and works perfectly fine. And I was like, oh, my gosh. She's like, what? I was like, it wasn't a short. It's just that's what Dysons do, I guess, when they get clogged. They just sound like that.
Motors from blowing
and
out.
she's like, so my old one's not broken? I was like, no, it definitely just has some dog hair or something. So I still haven't went and looked at it because I don't want to face the reality of the situation I'm in. But we now have 2 Dysons. So...
One for each hand.
Yeah, just double whip. I mean, for Luca's messes, that might be good. Just, maybe I'll tell her you can always have one charged, because as soon as you pull one off the charging port, just plug the other one in.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
Boom, 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 boom. So yeah, that was a tough realization, but hey, worked out. It's all happy story in the end.
Vacuum cleaners, that's fantastic. It's a great story. It's a great story.
Yeah. But,
did you learn a lesson? The key is, did you learn a lesson?
Well, the lesson I learned is, had I just looked at it day one, when she first said, if I would just put my laptop down and walked over and looked at it, the first thing I would have checked is it clogged? Because that was the first thing I did check when I finally looked at it. And I would have been like, oh, it's clogged. But the other lesson is by doing that, I have now been able to recycle a gift and give her the same gift and have her have joy from that one gift twice, which means less thinking on my part.
Wow. That's
Lemons
a good
into lemonade. I like it.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying about. The other gift I tried finding her and I just couldn't was the first necklace I ever got her when we were dating in high school. Was a Brighton necklace. She called me Fish. That was my nickname. Everyone in my high school called me Fish. It started with Fisher, got shortened to Fish. So when Liz and I started dating, I wanted to get her a fish necklace. And I found one at the beach in the Brighton store. And it was just this little fish on a necklace. And so I gave that to her, and she wore it every day for years and years. And then the tail broke off of it. And then she super glued the tail back together. And then eventually the chain broke. And then the tail, she like got a new chain, and then the tail broke again. And around that time, I had like gotten her, she was wearing like 2 or 3 necklaces I'd gotten her. I was like, just it's time to retire the fish, Liz. Like, it's broken. And so she always still loved it. Like, she still has the broken pendant in her jewelry box and stuff. And so I was like, that is such a like perfect gift. Because I know she loves it. It's not her style by any means. It's a very ugly necklace. But the sentiment of it, like, so I searched far and wide, and this thing is just gone. Nowhere to be found. It was a goldfish. And the only one I can find is from the same collection, but it's a koi fish, and it looks completely different. And I just like, so that was gift idea number 1. Didn't happen. So then gift idea number 2 was the Dyson. That happened. But then it, broke my heart. But yeah, but what sucks is Liz has held out this year. And so I haven't gotten any of my gifts yet. So we were wrapping them, and like I do all the gift wrapping. She does all the like name tagging. So she would like hand me a box and be like, this one's for you. Make sure you don't open it. So I'm wrapping it, and like, I probably have like 10 gifts to open. And she has 3. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So I don't know. I'm probably going to end up going out and just buying her more stuff from now till Christmas. So that she has.
That's always part of it where you're just like nervous. You like buy all the gifts that like you had like thought out and everything. And then you're like, oh my gosh, what if this isn't good enough? And then you just like start buying other things.
I've got on my list for her, because the other thing I got her, I was just too excited because it was too good of a gift that when it came in, I had to flaunt it. It came in, I was like, because it was a like, I bought her a makeup mirror before, right? Where it's like big and it has the LED lights around it and all that. But the problem is, first word I said, it's big, like it's chunky. And so she ends up never using it because with Luca, she just gets ready in whatever room Luca's in.
Yeah.
So the easiest room is like for her just to take her makeup bag and go into Luca's like bedroom where all of his toys are, and she'll just sit in the floor with a little like portable mirror that doesn't sit up on its own, and that's how she gets ready. So even if she does makeup in our kitchen, like she never sits down where like the big mirror is to do her makeup, and that's the mirror I had bought her. So it never gets used anymore. But the mirror she uses right now is like, it doesn't stand up on its own. So she'll go and get a soap bottle and like put the soap bottle up and then lean the mirror against it and then like put that all up on a box and all this. And so I watched that happen enough times that I was like, if I can find a thin mirror that stands on its own and has lighting, that's like the perfect gift.
Idea, yeah.
So that's what I found. I found one that's like really thin. It's like touch to like control the brightness of the light. And then it just has multiple different sitting like positions.
That's awesome.
And so it came in, and it came in while she's doing her makeup. And so she was sitting there, and she was like trying to get the mirror. And it was like perfect because the mirror like just fallen, and she was like, this stupid thing. But like she'd never asked for it. I'm like, that looks very inconvenient, doesn't it? She's like, what? I was like, that mirror. She's like, yeah, it kind of sucks. I was like, man, it'd be crazy if they made a thin one that you could still put in your makeup bag, but like had an LED light on it. She's like, I'm sure they do. I was like, yeah, but like maybe one that even like stands up on its own, huh? She's like, what are you talking about? I was like, oh, nothing. And I was just holding a box that said Ulta on it. And she just looked over. She's like, is that what you got me for Christmas? I was like, maybe, maybe not. And then I was walking to the other room and put it down, and I wrapped it last night. So,
that's awesome.
So you are going to make Liz still have to prop it up against a soap bottle. So
yeah.
The vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, no,
she has to suffer through that. For
she has
at
to
least
suffer through that.
Weeks, or at least less than a week now.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, she has to suffer through that because that one came in like December 2nd. So we're 18 days into the suffering.
I gave Gabby,
okay.
for the first time, I gave Gabby a Christmas present early, but it was just going to be like a stocking stuffer because it was like something cheap. But she had said like weeks ago, she was like, I really wish that I had one of those. And it wasn't even like a Christmas hint. It was just like, she was just saying it because we were making cookies or something. She's like, I really wish I had one of those cookie scoops where you like squeeze it and it like the little thing like shoots them out or whatever. Not shoots it out, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that would be really convenient. And we were making, and so whenever we were at Walmart the other day, we like separated because she was like getting something. And so I just ran by like the aisle really quick and found one. And I was like, this is a great stocking stuffer. And I just grabbed it and I bought it and I had it upstairs in the room. And then later that night, me and Gabby were making like no-bake cookies. And so she had like mixed it up and everything. And she was like, Konner, I was gonna wait, but can you please just run to the store really quick and go get one of those spoons? Because I think that this is gonna be almost impossible without it. And I was like, yeah, let me just go get my jacket. And then I walked upstairs. And I came back down and I was holding it. I was like, here you go. And she was like, what? And I was like, I got it for you for Christmas. So you can just have it now. But that was I can't do the early Christmas present. I can't do it.
It's what my family's like always done.
Yeah.
For instance, this year we got my parents like, we all pitched in, all of us kids, and bought different pieces to a Disney Christmas village for my parents.
That's awesome. That's so perfect.
Because my parents love decorating for Christmas and they love having different Christmas villages. Mm-hmm. And so we found a Disney one and we were like, that's perfect because we can just add to it every year. And so we all bought like 3 pieces each so that they would already have a table full. And so we gave it to them on November 1st. Yeah. So we went over for Halloween and we all brought our Christmas gifts with us because my mom decorates November like 1st or 2nd.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, so we walked in.
It does make sense. It's just funny.
We walked in, we sat down, we had like, dinner, and we carved pumpkins. We finished carving pumpkins, and we were like, all right, guys, y'all ready? And my parents were like, ready for what? And we just walked to our cars and came back with Christmas gifts. We're like, Merry Christmas. And my dad's like, guys, I'm all for early Christmas. It's November 1st. I was like, it'll make sense once you open it. And so my parents were just dying laughing. And then they opened and they're like, oh, and it did make sense.
Because
so
otherwise they'd get on Christmas like, here's a present you can't use for 11 months.
Exactly. So that's why we gave it to them when it was most convenient. So
for sure.
That was November 1st.
Awesome.
But yeah, so like my parents, I literally yesterday forgot we had given that to them. I was like, Liz, we're going to my mom and dad's on Saturday for Christmas and we don't have a gift for them. Like, what are we doing? Like, we bought for everyone else. How are we now on our list? She's like, because we gave it to them a month and a half ago. I was like, oh, you're right. Completely forgot we already gave them their Christmas gift.
That's really funny. I'm not very good at like the early Christmas presents thing. Like if I think of an idea, I'll write it down. Like I'll put it in my notes app in my phone.
Yeah.
And, but like I still, like I'm not like, if I get something, I can't hold on to it. Like I'll have to give it to them. But like 2 months ago, me and Gabby saw like the perfect thing for my sister and my brother-in-law at like this like textiles festival that we went to in my sister's town. But because their first dance at their wedding was Tennessee Whiskey by Chris Stapleton.
Great song.
And well, not by Chris Stapleton, but and so we found.
Oh my gosh!
You're already frustrated. You need to chill.
Take a chill
There's
pill.
one in there if you need to chill.
And we found a set, and it was a whiskey glass and a wine glass, and the wine glass said, "He's as smooth as Tennessee whiskey," and then the whiskey glass said, "She's a sweet strawberry wine."
Oh,
and we were like,
fantastic.
"That's perfect," because that was like their first dance, and like for their honeymoon, they went to Nashville to go see Chris Stapleton.
That's cool.
Did they happen to see the Chris Stapleton and Justin Timberlake? Have you showed him that video yet?
No, I haven't.
Have you seen his video?
He really likes. My brother-in-law really likes Justin Timberlake.
This is the greatest live
I'm
performance
sure he's seen it.
of
I'm
all
sure he's
time.
seen it.
Have you seen it, Jason?
No.
It was I think it was at the CMAs.
I don't know where is that.
At some
it is
point-
a good performance, but Hunter is obsessed
At
with
some
it.
point, Chris Stapleton and Justin Timberlake did a mashup of Tennessee whiskey and I Can't Drink You Away. And
I'll go watch it.
It's one of the greatest
I'll put
things.
it on so we can watch it.
It's really good, especially for the parts where Chris Stapleton is singing.
I like Chris Stapleton.
Justin
a lot, so.
Timberlake, he brings
Justin Timberlake's fine. He's
very-
very good. It's just whenever you're singing like with a really straight just like normal poppy voice and you put it next to Chris Stapleton, I mean it's just like
but like he adds a
got
little
nothing.
to it. He adds some grit to it in that performance.
yeah,
And it's live. That's the key. It's like
if
people
Chris-
never sound as good live, and they sound better.
Yep. But if Chris Stapleton
Oh,
likes it, then
I'm
I
gonna have to listen
like
to it again.
Right? If he's
I'm
good
gonna have
enough
to
with
listen to it again.
then it's
Yeah.
good. So
Oh, it's so good.
I'll look it up.
Man, it's so good.
I'll look it up. For sure,
There's
so.
this one family that I know. They go to my church, and the one of the boys, one of the 9th grade boys, is in my small group because I lead the 9th grade boys group and our youth group, and they are like the nicest, most down to earth family I've ever met. The dad is like one of the most intentional people. He's like one of the people where like whenever he talks to you, he's like nothing matters in the world except for you in that moment.
Those people kind of scare me sometimes.
It's amazing. It's
a little
like intimidating.
intense.
It's
It's
intimidating.
intense.
We don't know
It's
how to
because
deal
you
with it.
don't
But
see
it's
it ever
not like
anymore.
it's not like he's like peering into your
Yeah.
soul. It's like he just cares for you like so much.
You just never feel that anymore. So when you do, it's scary.
Exactly. Yeah. And so because you never have anybody's undivided attention.
Yeah.
And so like he's just like that, and he's like the kind of person where he'll text me and be like, hey man, just wanted to check and see how you're doing, or like you want to get coffee this week or something. And like I'll have a busy week and I don't text back, and like I always feel this pressure to like, oh my gosh, I didn't text them back, let me text them back because I know I'm about to see them tomorrow. And so like I like saw him at church and I hadn't texted back, and I was like, hey man, I'm so sorry I didn't text you back. He was like, hey, something about me, you never have to apologize about not getting back. I understand that it's busy. I will be here whenever you need it, whenever you want to reach out. And I'm like, but anyway, that being said, like I want to meet with this guy and be like, what do you do to your family? Because they're incredible and I need to do the same thing. But I was talking to the kids in the family, and I was like, how are you guys doing? And I was talking to them, like one of them had a birthday recently and stuff like that. And I was like, what's your favorite part? And they're like talking about it. And it just like the way that they care, they're like, oh, my sister got me this t-shirt. And it was amazing. She did such an amazing job, and it made me feel so valued. And it was so cool. And like just hearing them talk about it, I was like, what are you guys doing at home?
Yeah.
You guys are awesome. And so I was just thinking like their Christmas, because like I was asking the kid that's in my group, I was like, what are you excited about like for Christmas? And like he was like, it was very obvious that they don't like go insane for Christmas with like presents or anything. But he was like, I asked for, this whatever, very simple gift. And he's like, I'm really excited about it. It was really thoughtful for my parents to even ask like what I wanted and stuff like that. And I was just like, they are just like masters of like being so thankful for like whatever they have. And it's just like, I want that. You guys are so joyful. So that was all I had to say. I don't know why that came up in my mind. Well, it's because I was getting so excited about all these things that I was getting my wife, and then I was just thinking about them, who they're like, yeah, I got this really cool T-shirt, and I'm so thankful for it. And I'm just like,
yeah, we have a Christmas memory from when we were in Germany with our kids, and they were probably 9, 8, and 7 or something like that. And we found it. Excuse me. When we moved here, we got a new computer, so I was transferring videos off of it. We found one, and it was when I have 3 kids, Xander, Hannah, and Ryder. Xander's my oldest, and as each person opened their present, we have it on video, so it's great. He goes, all right. He was just that level of excitement, no matter what it was. He's going from kid to brother to sister and his own stuff, going, all right. What'd you get, Hannah? All right. And he doesn't like that memory, and we try to show it to him, and he's 22, so he could care less right now.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But it's that joy and excitement.
Yeah.
About whatever. It didn't matter what it was. We could have got him a book about Roman history, and he would have been, all right. We live in Europe. We can go to Rome.
Awesome.
I mean, so one of our happy memories, to enjoy them when they're there. So.
That's so fun. That's how I'm such like a gifts person that like, I think I've said this before, that literally if somebody walks in with a water bottle, like a plastic water bottle with water in it, and they're like, hey, I saw this water bottle, I thought you might be thirsty. I'm just like, you thought of me? You thought about me, and you got this for me? Like
I drank half it, but
that is, it's like if anybody gives me anything, I'm just like, there's one of my top love language is like gifts. So like giving and getting. So if you get me anything, then that's the easiest way for me to be like, oh my gosh, they love me.
Like
so
Scott
that
here.
banter game and my chill pills.
We've been talking a lot about like to my parents about I'll preface this. Parents, if you're watching with your kids, turn it off. Because Christmas. You can understand where I'm about to go. Anyways,
kids, your parents aren't real.
Yeah.
Birds aren't really.
No, we were talking to my parents because we were like trying to figure out.
Hunter's telling a joke right now.
No, I was yes
kids,
and no.
Kids, Hunter's telling a joke right now.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because we were talking.
Put on the TMZ hat.
Yeah. We were talking to my parents because Luca this Christmas doesn't give a frick about Santa.
Yeah.
Won't. But then, like, obviously...
Loves the Grinch, though.
Loves the Grinch. Well, like, he won't understand the concept of Santa. Mm-hmm. But then, like, next year will probably be the first Christmas where he does. And so, for, like, Liz and I both growing up, big Santa households. loved it. You know, like making reindeer food, putting it outside, like the whole 9 yards, cooking. And so like a lot of my best memories of Christmas are with my family, but why we were doing whatever activity was for Santa, like around Santa. So it was like every Christmas Eve, even when we were 19 and I was still living at home up until I got married, every Christmas Eve we made sugar cookies and we put a plate of cookies and milk out for Santa. Even like Santa, you know, gone, now I'm 20, still that was like our tradition. And so it's just like a lot of family traditions were built around it. And so it was like so much positive and good stuff. And like never once as I got older and like questions started to get answered about Santa, never once was it like I lost trust of my parents or felt like I was lied to type thing.
Okay.
Liz had the exact same experience, right? Of like, as she grew up, it was a very, I guess like you could say healthy de-escalation of Santa Claus.
Okay.
To put it that way.
Yeah.
But like now we're the parents. And so I was talking to my parents. I'm like, how did you do that?
Yeah.
Like how do I not have
How'd
trust
you make
issues?
it to where I wasn't like, okay, Santa Claus is God?
Yeah. Well, because that was, so Liz saw a TikTok, and this is my first, because Liz saw a TikTok where mom was crying because when her daughter found out about Santa, then it was like, does that mean God's not real? And so Liz showed me that and was like, we can't do Santa. I was like, Liz, I need you to stop for 1 second. I was like, because if our kids ever think and act like Santa's on the same tier as God in our life, we messed up somewhere else. Because like you talk about Santa once a year for like 3 weeks. So like already, if they're putting them on the same tier, I was like, that's a whole different parenting mistake that we've made for them to think of it that way.
That's a good point.
I was like, but there are some questions of like, how do you get to that line, but you don't, like, obviously you don't want to lie to your kids.
Yeah.
But there's also like, in my case, like so many core Christmas memories that are really good family memories were able to happen because of like every Christmas Eve, I would sit on my dad's lap when I was a kid and we'd pull up the NORAD Santa tracker. And like watch like, oh, Santa's over Chicago. You better get in bed. Santa's coming. You know what I'm saying? Like those are like awesome memories that I'll have for the rest of my life with my dad. And like I want to be able to create those with Luca, but the only way you create those is with Santa. So we went through. We still haven't fully decided because, like I said, we got a year, and even at a year, he'll be like 2.5 years old. So even at that point, it's not make or break time. We probably have like 2 years till it is. So we have a long time to fully decide. But we were just talking through it this year, and so our multiple solutions is one. Just do exactly what our parents did. Just because my parents also, good thing that both of our parents did as we were talking through, we realized is our big gifts that were like really thoughtful. Those gifts were never from Santa. Okay. It was always from mom and dad. Santa was like surprise gifts where we didn't ask, but it was like a cool gift. Yep. And we would have like 3 gifts from Santa. So if we had 10 gifts from mom and dad, there was like 3 ones from Santa. So I think that was an important thing of like, I don't know if that was intentional for my parents, but it was an important thing of like, this magical, mystical Santa wasn't the person that was giving me the one. Like I knew my parents were the one giving me the really thoughtful gifts, giving me the gifts that I had like asked for, and then Santa was giving me these like fun additional gifts when I was a kid. And like when we go up to Christmas this year, my mom will give gift to Hunter from Santa. Any gift that's like a additional thing I didn't ask to is still from Santa. Yeah, that's just what my parents do through and through. But so one was like, just do exactly what my parents did. Cause like I talked to my mom and she was like, well, if you think back, she's like, I never told you Santa. Like, she's like, if you asked me about Santa, I told you the story of Saint Nick, the real person, Saint Nick. She's like, that's what I always did. She's like, cause I wanted to make sure I wasn't like doing this. She's like, but of course we put cookies out for Santa and all that stuff. And you watched Christmas movies and that's kind of where you got your idea from Santa. She's like, so we never told you like anything about Santa other than if you asked about Santa, we told you the true story of Saint Nick and where Santa Claus came from. She's like, that's what we always did. She's like, now if you asked us, are you Santa Claus? You'd be like, you'll have to find out. I don't know. She's like, that was what we did. So I was like, I don't even remember that. Like, I just remember Santa and getting excited about Santa. So that was option A. Option B is obviously just not do Santa, which I don't really want to do that. And then option C and D were like morphs that Liz and I came up with, which option C, I told Liz, this is the first idea I came up with. I don't think we're going with this one, but option C was basically tell Luca that like the story of Saint Nick and be like, and because of that, and because the true spirit of Christmas of like, you know, giving a gift that you're undeserving of, you didn't ask for, but you receive, someone who cares about you in your life is Santa, and they want to give you a gift as a blessing, and it's from Santa. That way you don't know who it came from. So like one year it can be my mom and dad. are Santa for Luca. The next year it can be me. I'm Santa for Luca. The next year it can be Lizzie's dad. You see, so it's like it says Santa, so then the gift isn't because that person wants anything in return. The gift, so you can't even thank them. The gift is just for them to see the joy on your face when you get it. And so then Santa's always like we do the traditions of Santa, and like Santa's still a thing, but then he knows there is a person in my life who loves me that's giving me this, and it's not someone who came down my chimney. That was option C. I don't think we're gonna go with that one, but I like that idea. Option D.
That's a sweet idea.
Was someone told us this, that like a parent, I don't know where they heard it, but what they always told their kids, this like person was, there's a secret about Santa. And like this was whatever the kids would ask, like, hey, there's a secret about Santa. You'll learn it later. There's a secret about Santa. And so then eventually when their kids got older, the secret was, it was your mom and dad all along. And, you know, we wanted to give you these gifts and basically tell the same story as option C, but like it was us all along, and we wanted to give you these gifts and, you know, do this because of the true meaning of Christmas and the gifts you don't deserve, blah, blah, blah. So I think that's what we're going to go with.
Okay.
But that type of stuff with parenting, man, out of nowhere, it's just like something so simple as Santa for Christmas turns into a whole ordeal where I'm like, I don't know the right answer, Liz. That's because she brought it up, and I was like, again, the first thing I said was like, well, if that's the question Luca asks, we did something else wrong. But then I was like,
that is a very good point.
But there are a lot of questions surrounding Santa of like, how do you, in like the tooth fairy, my parents never really did a tooth fairy, but again, like it's ingrained in culture. So my parents would tell me like, hey, if you put the tooth under your pillow, there might be $1 there in the morning. And they would just do it. But it was never they never told me the tooth fairy comes through your window, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We've had this same conversations a lot recently, and yeah, it is so weird, like a weird thing that I wouldn't think is like such a big deal of like a decision you have to make, but it is. And my mic's doing that thing again where it gets really quiet.
It is very quiet. I can hear you louder from your voice than the mic.
Guard your ears. Okay, there we go. It's back. Oh, that's like one of the most frustrating things in the world. Whenever you're talking, it just gets quieter and quieter and quieter. But now, thankfully, the easy part of it for me is that I didn't grow up with like us doing Santa. Like my parents just never really said anything about it. And so like I knew kids at school that would like talk about it and stuff like that, but I never really believed it because it was never something that we were told about. So I don't remember ever like believing in Santa Claus at all. I had one friend that believed in him for a long time. But I would just kind of play along. But it's like, it is really fun. Like I see how it'd be really fun as a parent and a really fun thing to do with your kid. Again, it makes it a little bit easier for me to like give that up just because I know, like I had a lot of fun with Christmas. Like Christmas is still my favorite holiday and I love Christmas, and we didn't do anything with Santa. But like, I don't know. I kind of think like one of my things that makes me nervous, and I don't think that you're in the wrong no matter what you do with it, unless you like blood, like red in the face saying no, Santa Claus is real, child. like I think then you're like, oh well, let's back up a little bit. But one of our friends, she said that whenever she was a kid, the reason why her parents stopped doing it was because she said one day to her parents, like whenever she was a kid, oh, mom and dad, okay, I understand. Santa Claus is like Jesus. And then her parents were like, nope, all right, we're done. Like, no, Santa Claus isn't real. And like just kind of went through the whole thing. And so I was like, yeah, that is a little nerve wracking. But again, she grew up and she is totally fine. And she believes in Jesus, and like there's nothing wrong in that sense. But yeah, I kind of feel like maybe the route we might go is more just explain like the same thing as like with other superheroes and stuff like that. I'm not going to try to convince my kids that Spider-Man is real or anything, but he's a fun character that they can enjoy. Yeah. So I might just kind of explain that like during Christmas, like this isn't actually what happens, but it's like a fun character that we can enjoy and a fun like thought that we can have. Because like even that way, you could probably put out the cookies just because it's like a fun thing to do.
Yeah, because that's what, like when once the traditions were happening, and like that was the big thing with like Liz and I was like, the whole reason like a lot of traditions started and why they're special to me was because like the root of why I was excited when I was a kid was because Santa was coming. Yeah. Like that was like, I was excited because I'm making cookies for Santa and like blah, blah, blah. But I was like, but then as I got older, why I remember those memories so much is like we were all in the house making cookies together.
Yeah, that's
And, like
really
there's
fun.
so much fun because like even once my brother and sister who are 6 and 7 years older than me, by the time I have memories, they already knew about Santa. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like they're still fully bought in for my sake.
Yeah.
So then
Yeah.
they're in it, and like they're staying up with me to like, do we hear Santa on the roof, Hunter? You hear him?
That's so fun.
Like, and they're bought in because they're like wanting me to have the joy that they had when they were kids. And like,
Yeah.
that was really cool too. Of like, my brothers and sister cared about me enough to do that. And like, so I have so many. That's why Christmas is like so special to me. Is all those family memories, but like so many of them are tied to something around the tradition with Santa. And so that's why I don't know. That's because Liz was the older one in that situation, and so she has memories of like doing that stuff for her little sister Katie. And so we are like both ends of the spectrum because I'm the youngest, she's the oldest, and like but both of us like so many of those core memories are like around Santa. And we're like, so I don't want Luca to miss out on a lot of stuff that I got to experience,
Right.
but also I want to make sure that he is able to grasp reality the same way I was able to.
Yeah, that makes
Because like
sense.
I never had a problem with it. Of like once I discovered. Like as I got, it was just a natural progression of like every year you like would doubt a little bit and then whatever, and then eventually one year you're like, yeah, a magical man comes down my chimney. Okay, yeah. All right, sure. He doesn't trip our alarms. Like, okay, like eventually you just realize like, yeah, that was crazy. How'd I ever believe that? And you just
That's
move
funny.
on. Like that was what happened to me. Is you just moved on. Like it just,
Yeah.
and I was never upset. I never questioned anything. But like, yeah. What did y'all do, Jason?
We tried our best. Santa definitely delivered presents for sure.
Yeah.
So Santa delivered presents to our kids. Even in Paris, when we lived in Germany, we actually went to Paris and did Christmas in Paris when the kids were still
Wow.
really young.
That's
so
awesome.
We had all the presents magically made their way to Paris with us, as well as a tree. We even brought a small tree we had. It was pretty
That's
wild.
awesome.
That's awesome.
That Santa delivered there. So, but we did our best to not emphasize the present side of Christmas. Easier said than done.
Yeah.
And really emphasize their birthday. So they didn't associate necessarily Christmas with getting a lot of presents. They associated their birthday. Like we, as Elizabeth and I, to them would spend more money to go to a jump house, rent out a jump house for them to have for their friends or birthdays or whatever that may be. Do an escape room, whatever it may be. So we tried to do that so that we didn't, without being too cheesy, that remember the reason for that season.
Yeah.
And those things are great. But we were full in on Santa Claus. We loved it. We talked about it. We still had to do that life because for a few years in Alabama, Elizabeth's brother and sister-in-law would come spend Christmas with us, and they had young kids. So even for years, until the last 2 years, Santa's still been coming to our house. But what was funny is they didn't really ask a lot of questions, but eventually we just flat out told them. It was like, okay, we're just going to tell them. And my daughter was shocked. Her face looked. And she wasn't. I think we were still in Germany, so she was maybe 8 or 9, something like that.
Yeah.
Because Ryder is my youngest, so he's still 2 years younger than Hannah, and so we're trying to ride it for as long as possible. And we're like, it's time. Let's just tell them. And Hannah's face, I still remember her face to this day. She was like it was like ghost. Like she'd been like a deer in the headlights. She's like. And then she went to her room and I think started crying because she's my creative and imaginative one anyway.
Yeah.
She's my
Yeah.
storyteller, and so the life of that was tough for her. And obviously they're just fine now. We emphasize Christmas heavily. We're big on Santa Claus, all those things, and now they live fully normal, good, moral Christian lives, right? So there was no necessarily conflict of interest for that, for sure. When I was young, we had Santa deliver. Santa visited me when I was a kid. Don't know when he stopped visiting me. I had a broken household. It is what it is. So we just kind of make our own stuff with Elizabeth. So, but it's good. It'll be interesting as my kids, now that you're dealing with that, as my kids years down the road start having it, it'll be interesting to see what path they take for that.
Yeah.
For sure. So.
Oh yeah, because that's the other thing I was telling Liz. I was like, for every one story you hear of a kid who did struggle with it, there's like 20 of kids who like it made Christmas not made Christmas, but like so many Christmas memories are around it, and like it wasn't a hard transition because like again, it's brought up once a year, and you have a whole year of maturing in between that every year. So like eventually I feel like that cycle just kind of happens where like whether it be from 9 to 10 or from like to eventually you just like get back to Christmas and you're like, I'm too old for this.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you, like that's what happened to me is I eventually I was like, I'm too old for this. Like I'm just gonna believe in some magical. And like even the last year I did believe, I was like really, my parents were holding on for every last bit. That's when my sister pulled the prank of like gave me Santa's email, and I like sent an email because I was like, I knew it was my parents. in that moment.
Yeah.
And so I put them in the most impossible situation because I wanted to see them fail so that on Christmas Day I could be like, I told you Santa wasn't real. And so that's what I sent the email. I don't know if I told you this story. I sent the email.
Oh, this is like a top 5, maybe number 1 Thomas story.
Yeah, so I
This is
told
an amazing story.
the whole leading into Christmas. I don't know how old I was at this point. I was probably like 10 to 12 range, somewhere in there. And I had told the whole leading into Christmas, I'm like, I know Santa's not real. And my sister and brother, and like they refused. My parents were like, I don't know. We'll see if he gets you any gifts. Like, I don't know. Because like, again, they don't want it to be over because I'm their last kid, obviously.
Right.
And my sister and brother don't want it to be over because they're having so much fun. And so my sister's like, well, here. I went online and Santa has an email. This is Santa's email. I didn't see right through that. And so I get Santa's email.
That makes sense.
I get Santa's email and I'm like, all right, fine. I have Santa's email. She gives it to me on like the 20th or something. And so I'm like, I kept telling her, I was like, I know this is going to mom and dad. Like, I know. And so I was like, I'm going to send an email and I didn't tell anyone what it was. I was like, I'm going to send an email for a specific gift. And I'm going to do it on an impossible time where the only way it shows up under that tree is if Santa brings it. And they're like, okay. And so 6 p.m. Christmas Eve night is when I know it was 6 p.m. I don't know why I chose that time, but like it was late enough that Lynchburg stores, especially on Christmas Eve, pretty much all closed.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And what I asked for, I was like, this is impossible to find in Lynchburg, which was a Duke basketball Christmas ornament. Because I also wanted something that my parents couldn't have guessed and it'd just be under the tree. And when they see it, they're like, oh, yes, we have it. So I wanted like something that was just out of the blue. And so I put a Duke basketball Christmas ornament, sent it to Santa, 6 p.m. And I didn't even tell anyone I'd sent the email because I was just like, we'll just see what happens. I open all my gifts. It's not there. And like, there's a few gifts from Santa and I'd open them like, haha. And like open it and be like, nope, that wasn't what I asked for, mom and dad. Good try and whatever. And then I was like real cocky about it.
I'd love to be a part of that bratty Hunter
I was real
Christmas.
cocky with it because I was just like, y'all, there's no way y'all are getting this gift. And then my dad was like, all right, here's your last present. It was always the last present was always the big one. So it was like for my brother and I that year, it might have been like an Xbox or something. And it was always like they would group us all and get like one big family present. And so we opened it and it was great. And then my dad's like, well, I hope you all had a good Christmas. And my mom goes, oh, something's like, so we forgot one. Something stuck behind the tree. And she pulled out this little box like, Hunter, it's from Santa. I don't know. And she threw it to me. And she's like, I don't know what it is. And I opened it and it was a Duke Christmas ornament. I mean, I basically crapped my pants. I lost my mind. Because at that point, there was...
What did you do? Did you like sit there and
No.
like,
Because my dad was like, what? Why are you... My parents, they should have won an Emmy.
Were you like jumping around?
Oh, yeah. My parents should have won an Emmy because they're like, what is it, Hunter? Like, tell us what is it? It's just an orange. Why are you freaking out? It's like, this is what I sent to Santa. I explained it to him like they didn't know. I was like, I sent it to him at 6 p.m. last night. Like, there's no way y'all could have got this. I know he's real. And I was bought in. Like, I freaked out.
That
And
is like I love this.
by the
story.
next year, I obviously didn't realize like Santa. So then the next year it comes around and my mom's like getting out the ornaments and gets out that Duke one to put on the tree. I was like, you got to explain that to me. I was like, how did you pull that off? And she's like, well, obviously the email went to Heather. I was like, yeah. And she's like, and so she sent it to us and she's like, Dad and I both looked at each other and like, well, we've got to try. She's like, so y'all went to bed at like 7 or 8 o'clock. You know, we would always, all the kids would spend the night in one of our bedrooms before Christmas Eve. And at this point, my sister...
Why is that like a normal thing for... Because we did that too.
I don't know, it was just fun.
We did as well.
One time we stayed the night in our treehouse.
Oh, that's fun.
It was really fun.
And so we all spent the night in my sister's room that year. And she's like, we told Heather to get you up there as early as possible. So it was like 7:30. We were like, let's go ahead and start watching Christmas movies. I'm like, okay. And she's like, as soon as you went up there, we left. And we just went to every store. She goes, and Cracker Barrel, of all places, was still open and had a Duke basketball Christmas ornament. I was like, where'd you go? She's like, we went to the mall first. Nothing. No luck. Like, they went to like 4 stores. And Cracker Barrel at like 8 or 9 p.m., they walked in and started looking around. And for some reason, because we're in Virginia,
Right.
Yeah.
Duke basketball is not a local team.
yeah.
That was in my head. I'm like, you'd have to order this online is what I was thinking.
for sure.
And for some way, somehow, Cracker Barrel had a Duke basketball Christmas ornament. And so my mom still puts it on the tree like every year. Because like I came over and she like put it high and around the back so that none of the kids could reach up to it and break it because it's like her most sentimental ornament.
Right.
Yeah.
Because like obviously now my parents have the memory of they just pulled off the impossible.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
your parents are more like, boy, we've been in this game a long time. You're not gonna pull one over on us.
Yeah.
Well,
Because
that'd be
yeah,
fantastic.
my parents.
Their excitement for that morning probably was palpable.
I know.
I
I
would
would-
like to
Well,
to
that's
win
the
an Emmy
thing.
with how they were
Yeah,
acting,
they
with how
probably
great
were
that
so
is.
That's the thing
excited.
too is like even even when they found the gift under the tree, I thought they legitimately found one.
Yep.
Like I wasn't.
Yeah.
Nothing put my radar
That
up.
is so awesome.
And then they were like asking me, my dad's like, Hunter, why are you freaking? I think he might have been filming it. I gotta ask if he has that tape because he used to film.
We've got
need
to
that.
see
He used
that.
to film
See that.
all of our
Holy
Christmases.
crap!
I don't know
You
if he
need to
was
text
still,
him right now because I need to see
Well, it would
that.
be on VHS, so he would have to dig into the archives.
That's still.
But
I mean,
I'll ask him because like he used to film all of our Christmases.
That story is like my number one because like again like I don't really care about the whole Santa thing that much.
Yeah.
But whenever I think about it, I always think about that story. I'm like, but that is so funny.
Yeah,
that
no,
story
it
is
was incredible.
awesome.
It was incredible. It was just all around team effort, and it worked. It worked like a charm. Yeah.
It's so awesome.
All right, let's end this banter out with your. Let's just do Santa coming down the chimney.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. This is my Santa coming down the chimney.
Oh.
He's not.
Oh, he's not going down the
Yeah,
chimney.
he's not.
Dang, man. This is
Yeah.
mine. I'm getting too old for this ho 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 crap.
Okay, I'm not very good at this, but I'll still try. Coming down the chimney. Remember, he's coming down a chimney.
Okay.
Whoa! Who left the fire on? I'm out.
That's fair. And that's
Sorry for how loud that was.
perfect. All right,
It's
well,
okay.
there you
It's
go.
compression.
Merry Christmas, Scott. Thank you again. This is the greatest Christmas gift we've ever seen. And what was it? It was Trevor and Jason on the Banter next week.
Yep.
Yeah, it's me
Courtesy
and Trevor.
Chris Dyserson has spoken. This is now going to be a staple.
We'll take a chill pill in your honor.
Yeah, Chris Stapleton has spoken. This is now a staple on the show.
Yep.